Yes.
Hang tight.
Set in the middle there.
You are struggling to go live, and you're live.
Okay, so we're live. Welcome to OnSet. I'm Daniel Norton. I'm here today. Today we're going to do, Emily's here. And we got Seth on the mighty mixer. I told you I'm out of practice. Today we're going to be a little scattered. I'm normally very on top of things. That's not true, I'm always scattered. But no, we're going to talk about, basically, people are always asking me questions about little things that happen during the live streams and during other videos we do that we don't address because they're just kind of part of what we do as photographers, all the little stuff. So I kind of threw together a grab bag of stuff to kind of answer a bunch of those questions. And as you guys may have questions during this, we'll also answer that. So we're going to be very loose format today. I did bring in Emily, so we'll make pictures because it's always more fun to actually make some pictures while you're doing it, right? But we're going to stay really, really loose. And I'm actually going to start off doing something I don't normally do, which is to show you kind of like a computer thing. So I always shoot tethered. So tethered means that when you're photographing with your camera, right, there is a cable connecting my camera right here to my computer, right? So we just did a whole workshop on tethering, so if you want more information on that, you can watch that guy. It's on Adorama TV. But there was a question because when you're shooting like this, although I guess if you're shooting to Lightroom, it saves on the camera, but in Capture One, which is what I use and what a lot of people use, it does not save it anywhere but onto the hard drive. So there was a lot of questions about, well,
Robert Kaplan says that.
hey, Robert Kaplan. If you guys don't watch Robert Kaplan's show, Photo Brigade, or follow him on Facebook, you should. If you guys are watching online, Photo Brigade's awesome, and so is Robert. So I'm going to show you a quick way that you can kind of back up as you're tethering. Basically, what we're going to do is, this is on a Mac. If you're a PC person, you probably already know how to do this because PC people know all their stuff. But if not, maybe somebody out there will tell you how to do the specific part. But all I'm going to do is create what they call a folder action. And what this folder action is going to do is it's going to watch my folder, my capture folder, and whenever a new image is added to the folder, it's going to copy it somewhere else. That other place is going to be a little baby hard drive, right? I have this little hard drive here. You can see it's mine because it says Daniel on it. This could be a USB stick shoved into the side of your computer. This could be a card reader plugged in with the memory card in it if you want to go that way. But essentially what we're going to do is we're going to set up a situation. And I kind of said this in the tethering thing that you could do this, and I got a gazillion DMs, and I said, all right, I'm going to talk about it. That way you can actually see how to do it. So what you want to do is, the first thing, this is why we're not set up yet. I'm going to set up my capture thing in Capture One first. So I'm going to go over, I'm on my computer here, I'm going to go to Capture One, and I'm going to open it. Okay, so when it opens up like this, I'm going to say New Session, like I always do. Now the way I always do things is I name them based on the date that I'm doing it, and then a project name. This allows me to search stuff later on, keeps things organized. So today is the 1st of November, so I will call it 18/11/01. Why do I put the year first?
They're asking if you use raw plus JPEG and tethering.
So the reason why I put the year first is because if you put a lot of stuff in one folder, they'll actually stay in order, right, by that. So that's why I do it that way. So do I shoot raw plus JPEG when tethering? I do not. But if you do, and actually we're going to talk about this, if you do, you can do something else kind of cool with the hot folder, and I'll show you that in a second. Seth does that. All right, so we're going to call this Photo Hacks. I think that's what I called it. Somebody was like, you're a hack. So I was like, oh, I'll call the thing Photo Hack. I don't know what that means.
I call you a hack.
Yeah. So Photo Hacks, okay, so we're going to call it that. I'm going to save it onto my desktop, which is where I always save it. Why do I save it on my desktop? Because if I put it somewhere else, I'll never find it again. So I call it that. I'm also going to, just to save myself time, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go, boom, Photo Hack. So now we've created a session in Capture One, just like we always do.
Is that Marissa on your desktop?
Is that Marissa on my desktop? Yes. Okay, so here's my folder I just created. And you notice inside Capture One, there's a whole bunch, the folder, Capture One automatically does this. It's created the capture folder, the output folder, blah, 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 blah. All we care about really is the capture folder, right? But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come over to my external hard drive, and I'm going to create a new folder. And I'm just going to call it the same, and then I'm going to call it with the word backup. Okay, so you could call it anything you want, but I advise you to call it the same thing so you don't confuse yourself later if you are at all easily confused like I am. So here's the thing. in theory, I'm never going to use this folder. I'm going to throw it away later the next time I shoot. Because when I get back to my house, my office, I plug into a Drobo. A Drobo is a RAID system that automatically backs itself up. So then I copy everything to the RAID and I just erase this off this little hard drive. It's only there to give me security until I get home. That's all it's for. In fact, normally what I'll do is I'll leave this hard drive at the studio, right? So 2 different places even. So if something happens, my bag gets stolen, that kind of stuff. I can get jumped like Seth did.
Hey.
You can look on Instagram and see Seth's photos they took of himself. All right, so.
It really happened.
It really happened, Jay.
It really
So now we're set, right? We have our 2 folders, so every time you take a picture, you just have to copy. No, I'm going to automate it, of course. So believe it or not, in a Mac, there's something called Automator. It looks like a little robot, which is kind of cute. And what we're going to do is we're going to go, and again, this is where if you have a PC, it's going to be a little different. Whatever macro program you use. So this is really simple. I'm just going to go File, New. I'm going to choose a folder action. Choose. And I'm going to pick my folder, right? The folder that I want to put the action on is going to be, look at all these people on our wireless network. Is going to be the capture folder, right? Not the entire folder, because all this action is going to do is see things entering a folder. Nothing's going to go into the main folder, right? So you want to choose the capture folder. Make sure you do that. Choose. And then I'm going to find the action I want, which is copy. Copy Finder items. I'm going to drag that over. It's going to say copy to. The default is desktop. You do not want 200 pictures on your desktop. I won't say anything. So,
that's a don't.
Yeah. So you go over here, and I'm going to pick the Daniel Norton's portable drive, and I'm going to choose this backup folder. Choose. So what I've created is essentially a macro, right? I'm now going to save it. This is the important part, and I'm going to call it hack macro because it's just for this. If I could spell, it would be better, but okay. This is done. I can now quit. Now, whenever I put a new file into this folder, it should, I feel like a magician right now, because it's either going to happen or it's not, right? Something's going to happen. So I'm going to grab my camera here. I'm going to go into Capture One. Okay. I'm going to put it on professional mode. That's what the P stands for. Let me take a picture. Okay. There it is. It's beautiful. And we can see that it appeared in both places, right? You see this happen there? Here it is. And here it is. Now, as a bonus, and I'm not going to set this up because I think this is more computer stuff than I ever wanted to do in my life during a live presentation. You can tell as part of an action. Instead of saying everything that goes in this folder, you could say any JPEGs that go into this folder, right? And you could shoot RAW plus JPEG, and you could move those, though. You could have the RAWs copy to this backup, the JPEGs maybe move to your Dropbox. So your client who's in Cincinnati could be logged into that Dropbox and see the pictures popping up as you're shooting them, right? It's super useful, it's automated, it's super easy, and that's gonna save you a lot of work. All right, there you go. That's tip number 1. Feeling good? That was the best one too. I hope that was all right because I'm going to go downhill from now on.
So you're welcome.
Ah, you're welcome. So here we are, right? And I just wanted to go over that because I thought that was kind of important. You guys can watch that tethering video to see more about tethering if you'd like. And by the way, anything you put in that folder will automatically be copied. So if, let's say, you imported and stuff like that, it would still do it. As long as that folder exists, that's going to happen because that's how it's set up. Also, if I turn my computer off, turn it back on, as long as I have the hard drive plugged in, I can still do it. So if you don't want to take the time to do it while you're setting on set, you can just do it at home before you show up. Okay, obviously I had to do it in front of you, otherwise you wouldn't have known what I did. I would just pointed at it. All right, here we go. Let's moving on. Oh, see, I am going to mention it. By the way, you know what this is? Oh, I'll lower this now.
There you go. Although
there we go.
That Eric sticker.
Boom. See what that is? Do not eat that. Silica gel. You know what that does? Oh, am I putting it the wrong way? Yeah.
Well, let me go do what you're doing. I got it.
All right. So, you know what this is? This is that thing that falls on the ground when you open stuff and you throw it away. Silica gel is designed to absorb moisture, right? This stuff comes in a lot of equipment, a lot of electronics you buy. There's all these little packages, you throw them away. If you were to go upstairs to the scuba store, you can buy a pack of 10 of these for like $20. And you're throwing them away every day. Save these things, throw them in your camera bag, throw them where you're gonna leave your equipment for a while. Put them in your jacket pockets. They're gonna absorb moisture. They're super, super easy, and if they get weird on you, just throw them away. Silica gels, and if you don't want them, bring them to me. All right, good. See, I told you I was gonna talk about that. Seth was making fun of me, but I think that's super important. I know, it's silly. Let's go into a shooting thing. There we go. So, here I am, I got my CStand. We've talked about CStands a bunch of times. Sandbag on the leg. This is a Profoto B1X. Oh, you know what? She never gave me the remote for it. Nope. Nope. Yep.
You're staying here.
Yep, I got it. All right, we'll talk about that in a second because I didn't get the remote. This is what happens when you don't bring your own remote. Lesson 2, bring your own remote. All right, so we'll go into something else. So I don't know if you guys realize that pretty much when you're dealing in photography, I'll show you this. With photo stuff, you probably see, nobody saw that. I don't know what camera I'm on, the center one. So you probably see this screw here, and we'll do a close-up a bit later, right? See that screw? That's everywhere, right? You know that screw can fit into the bottom of your camera, right? This is a super clamp, by the way. Thank you. Right? That screw is called 1/4 20, right? If you were to go to a hardware store, right? 1/4 20. This is a crazy common size that you can screw into the bottom of your camera, into a lot of photo equipment. This can save you so much time and so much hassle if you don't have a certain piece of equipment. There's equipment made to do everything, right? But sometimes you're not around stuff. So knowing that like this is a common size, you can get it anywhere, can allow you to do a whole bunch of things. It'll allow me to hang my camera someplace. It will allow me to replace my tripod screw if it got lost. So many things like that. That's right. We'll write that down. See, that's good. 1/4 20. Good. All right, good. We got one thing. If you write it down, I feel good. All right. By the way, the other common size, which I didn't buy because I didn't have it at the Home Depot down the store. I can't believe that the Home Depot in New York City doesn't have. The other size that's common is 3/8 16. This size. That's the size you're going to have like on the top of your tripod, to hold the head on stuff. That's called 3/8 16. That's the other common size. Okay. We'll talk about that again in a second. That was like a segue. I'm going to go into a quick lighting thing here. So this is a Profoto B1X. I'm just going to put a softbox on it. So this is a softbox. Hopefully that makes sense, right? If I'm going to. Okay, I amuse myself. So I probably talk about it all the time, so maybe I should. Now I'm going to mention it. It's happening. I thought that was moving. All right. Okay, this cannot be mentioned enough. This is a 650 pin. Okay? See that? If you're going to use a CStand to put a light on it, like I do all the time, the 650 pin goes right here in the knuckle, right? It goes in the grip head. Okay? You do not put a light. I feel like I'm lecturing. You do not put a light on this end. You've done it before. Don't do it again. Do not do it. This is, by the way, the right size. You could put a light on it. It seems like something you could do. You can also stick a fork into a plug in the wall, but you don't do that, right? At least not twice, right? So the reason why you don't put it at the end there is because there's nothing to hold your light in place that's going to make it stay. The 650 pin has this recess here, right? That's going to hold your light. So when you put your light onto it, it's not going to ever fall off, even if it loosens up. And then the other reason why you use this, even if that wasn't the case, when you go to boom your light out, anybody who's ever used a beauty dish or something did the CStand the wrong way, you know that you put your light out here, and over time it starts to drift, right? Because all the weight of the light is twisting this way. With the pin, your light's here. There's no drift. See how I'm doing it? That can sit there all day. Never going to be a problem. They're like 10 bucks. If you're buying a CStand for $180, splurge for the extra $10 if you're going to put a light on it. Believe me. Did I just put that in the camera? I do that a lot. Okay, does that make sense so far? I feel like I'm going really fast. Okay, I'm going fast. Okay, I'll slow down. Questions online? Oh, Dave. So, if anybody has watched or any of the stuff that I'm in for a long time, I usually have Dave here, who's amazing. Dave has now moved off to do his own thing. You can follow him on DaveBrusco.com, I think, but also his YouTube, Dave Brusco. So follow Dave. He's amazing. And maybe we'll do some stuff with him on my channel too. But yeah, he's rock and roll. So, but Seth's still here, so. Why is it called a 650 pin? Because that is the Avenger terminology for it. That's what they call it, AE650, and I believe they created it originally. By the way, Kupo, I think, although I'm not sure it's Kupo, but I'm pretty sure it's Kupo, makes a 650 pin that's female threaded. So if you buy that one, you can just thread stuff into it. I think it's threaded quarter 20. Like, how cool is that, Kupo? Could you flatten it with the grinder to put a notch in it to make it spin to what, save the $10 to buy a 650 pin? It would still spin because balance. But yeah, actually, yeah, no, that wouldn't work. All right, here we go. Do we have the meter? This is a non-TTL. All right, so this is a light meter. I made it really simple here. All right, so, all right, this is the big debate. You guys ready? So we got the light meter. So all right, so let's start from scratch here, as we always do. I'm going to make a portrait of Emily, right? So what's the very first thing that I do? Meter. No, are you trying to cheat because I have a meter in my hand? He's like, he has a meter in his hand. It's gotta be. I mean, it's kind of. Whenever you're going to shoot something and you want to use flash, you want to take control of your space, the first thing you want to do is set your camera so that none of the light in the space affects your shot. So how do we do that? Magic, right? We know that this camera syncs at 1/250th of a second. So, we know that being a faster shutter speed is going to reduce the amount of light, right? So I'm going to set my camera at 250. I also know that the lowest, like regular ISO is 100. The lower your ISO, the less light comes in, right? So low is good, right? So 100 ISO. Those two numbers, you can set that before you leave your house, right? When you're doing that, you can set the numbers on your camera. The third part, your aperture, is going to be determined by where you are. If you're standing in the street during the middle of the day and it's really bright, you're going to have to be more closed down. If you're in a dark space, you could be more opened up, right? Essentially, you want to just set your exposure so that none of the light in the space is affecting your shot. Now, if I set my camera at, I'm going to take it out of professional mode. I'm going on manual. So 250 f8. I'm going to look through the camera. I'm looking at Emily's grill. And I'm going to adjust my shutter, my aperture, I should say, until I get a very underexposed shot. So I'm going to go f8. Okay, so my camera's like, that's not enough light. So I'm like, good, perfect, that's what I want. So I'm going to take a shot at f8. And we're going to take a peek. And we have the black frame, right? That's what we want. What I want is for you guys to come to this, to every time you shoot, to shoot tethered if you can. And every time you shoot, your first frame should look like this. If you do that, you're on the right track. Because this means that none of the light in the space is affecting my shot, right? So every bit of light that hits Emily is my fault. I can take full credit, I can take full blame. If it's terrible, it's me, right? It's not the light in the space. So now that I have that piece of information, I'm going to set my light meter at 100 ISO, 250th of a second. I'm going to point the light meter. This is the controversial part. Some people will say that you should point the light meter towards the camera. And some people say you point the light meter towards the light. I'm going to go towards the light because that's what Gavin does. All right, 5, 6, 7. So I'm almost f8. I'm going to turn the power up a little bit. What I want to do is match my power here. Okay, the meter's going to give me a place to start. Based on, how shiny her skin is, how I want it to look, et cetera, we can adjust, but I'm going to start with the light set properly. Properly, meaning, remember that I put that there, because I will lose that and I will not know where it is. All right. Meter is set. Camera is good. Okay, I'm going to go flash, white balance, f8, 100 ISO, 250th of a second. Coming in close. I'm going to make a shot. There she is, right? There's Emily, properly exposed. Same as this, right? One flash later, you got that, right? Simple enough, right? So what we're going to do here is that's actually pretty nice, but I want to create a little more shadow because I want to talk a little bit about reflectors. Because we use reflectors all the time, we joke about them, but we don't really get into it, so we're going to talk about it a little bit. So I'm going to just kind of pitch this thing down a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to move it forward. Actually, I'll move it towards you. Why use a light meter when I'm shooting tethered? Because how many shots does it take me to get a properly exposed picture? How many? One, exactly. I mean, I get the idea that, like, especially if you're starting and you don't have a big budget, maybe it's not the first thing you're going to invest in, but the reality is that I could put you in front of my camera and I could shoot a bunch of pictures and get a proper exposure eventually by guessing, right? But if you don't know me and you hired me to take your picture, are you going to feel secure in that? Or are you going to feel more secure when the first picture that pops up is correct, right? You don't care. She's like, I don't care. Right, exactly. All right, I'm a little hot now because I drank a lot of coffee. Okay, all right. So I'm creating a little bit more shadow. Shadow is going to, by bringing the light closer to her and further up, it's going to create more shadow, which is going to, kind of flatten out her face or add more dimension to her face. Rather, oh, I lost my sound for a second. Okay, we got to swap. Yeah. All right, here we go. Focusing. There we go. Now we've added a little bit more. Now we can see that there's more dimension there, but now she's getting shadowy in the face. Honestly, if you only have one light and you're trying to be fast, this is much better, right? Everybody sees that. But since I want to use reflectors, I'm going to show you how to do it. Let me make it intentionally not good light so I can show you how to fix it.
You're asking if the light meter should fall be out or dome in or out.
Okay, so the dome in or out, it should be out. In this meter, it should be out. Basically, what this is mimicking is the shape of the face. This is when you want more of a flat. Like if you're gonna point it like for like a hair light or something, you might want to use that. Typically, I don't leave it in, especially if there's only one light in play.
It's good for dark lights.
Yeah. I mean, if there's like a lot of lights, like let's say I had a hair light going on too, I might recess it because I don't want the hair light affecting that light. But the way that I normally do things is I turn off my lights until I set each one separately. So it's not really an issue for me, but if you leave your lights on all the time.
You gotta do me a favor?
No, I think I'm good. I'm not muted. Okay. Oh, you want to switch the thing now? Okay. I'm changing, so I have to be behind the.
Don't worry about it.
I'm not worried about it. Okay.
Camera's safe and all.
No, is it cutting out?
Yeah.
Okay, hold. All right, guys, we'll switch to the microphone. Talk amongst yourself.
This mic's live. Whoa. Okay. Okay. Calm down. Calm down. Okay.
All right, I'm going to mute it for a second.
I'm gonna mute this one because it keeps it a little live. Switching mics. Calm down, everybody. Just calm it down. It's not that big a deal.
Oh my God, oh my God.
Oh my God.
What's happening? I'm trying to keep your attention here by having me strip.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
Okay, so, does that make sense so far? Okay, cool. Okay, so, no, it's fine. Now I'm going to add, I'm going to fill in the shadows with this, right? This is what I should do, right? This is what I'm doing this right? Is this the right thing? It's not, is it? I see that face you're making. Why isn't this going to work? I'm serving your lunch on an airplane. Okay, so why is this not going to work? It's not going to reflect any light, right? Because it's black. Let's see, though. Maybe we're wrong. Yeah, no, it didn't really work, right? It's black. It's not reflecting any light. It's flat, right? What we want is whatever you put, you know, in your light here, it's going to reflect, right? So if it's black, it reflects basically nothing, right? The other thing you want to make sure of is that the light itself, let me turn the modeling light on so you guys can see this better. We're going to be so fancy today, turning on modeling lights and everything. It's on. You can't see anything.
Can you just mention that there's a light meter demo on IGTV?
There is a light meter demo on IGTV, Adorama's Instagram TV, by the amazing Seth Miranda. Speaking of Seth, who knows what this is? This is a Brooklyn Reflector, right? Right. Seth makes these. They're artisanal. Okay, so this is a white piece of foam core, right? I bought it at Blick down the street. It was way expensive because it was in the city. I should have got it in Brooklyn. It's great if, like, you know, you need to put a sign, like you're selling something, but also it's white, right? So white is going to bounce light back. So I can simply take my reflector, put it here, and we can already see when I'm going to take the picture and somebody's going to quickly like retouch it and stuff before you guys even see it. It's going to be crazy, just like in a video. All right, here we go. Right? This is going to kick light back up in her face. See the difference there? Okay. Right? Scary, a little less scary. Scary, a little less scary. Right? So, this is Emily. Isn't Emily awesome? Yay, Emily. Okay. So, we can definitely play around with this, right? This is a nice big piece of foam board. I love to use foam board, especially when I'm in the studio. I mean, you definitely can buy those pop-up reflectors, and there's lots of cool things you can get for those. What's nice about this is it's cheap, and it's just kind of flat and easy. That was me saying to buy something somewhere else. Now they're closing the place down. Adorama's getting mad. All right. Is that electric? Boogie woogie woogie?
I don't know.
Something's happening out there. We're not sure. Now, the other thing you can do, I'm stealing this, by the way, from Seth, is, I know, I'm stealing your thing. So, if it's black, oh, I think I stole, unless you charged me for 2 pieces. I might have stole this piece of paper. I'm just going to admit it right now. I have to bring it back. Why is it shiny?
It's neon.
Oh, it's neon. Let me try this first. Then we can show how the neon works better. Whatever you're going to put there is going to reflect, right? So if I put, purple, we're going to get a little bit of kickback from the purple. It's not going to be as strong as the white. It's not going to be nothing like the black. And we should get a little color. We should, anyways. Yeah, right? A little bit. Little subtle kickback, right? In here versus the white. See the difference? At first you guys were like, that's not doing anything. Then you're like, oh yeah, it is, okay. Okay, yeah, it is doing something, I see. So actually, I didn't think the purple would be very good. I got it because it was really kind of heavy. I actually got this color because I thought it would be good on Emily's skin. Even though I didn't know it was going to be Emily today. I predicted it. We will never see that piece of paper again. You see where it went? Went back there. All right, this is orchid. Okay. Emily's always like, could you get the orchid paper for my skin tone? Because I think that it works well with my complexion. So we've got the orchid. Cool. Right? And now it's like a little more subtle, right? Ooh. Orchid, nothing. Orchid, nothing. It's a little, I think it doesn't really work so well in this situation because the light's too steep. But let me change the lighting position now. So that was really to kind of show you guys how it works, but let me change it up to make it better. Or worse, one or the other. It'll be one or the other. It'll either be better or worse. We're not really sure. No. Yeah, that should be pretty good. I backed it up a little bit to get the angle a little nicer on our eyeballs. Okay. Good. There we go. Now we got a little more light in our eyes, but we still have a little bit of kick down here. Also, her looking up definitely helped. What's it? Length? Lens? Oh, this is the 2470 Canon 2.8 L7538 session 14 and a half. Okay. So far, so good. Does that make sense? The point here, too, is not just that you're going to grab a piece of paper and start doing these reflections. You can certainly do it. It's really fun. The point here is that anything that's going to be reflective is going to reflect onto your subject, right? So if you're standing in a room and the wall is red and your light is bouncing off the wall, it's going to add that red cast to your subject. So you need to keep that in mind when you're shooting, right? Both for creative use, like you see it and you're like, oh, that'll be cool, or you don't want that, right? You're shooting somebody that's wearing, like, especially if they're wearing light colors, like a white shirt or something, you know, they're going to pick up that color. You're doing fashion, you're doing a wedding, you know, you don't want that to happen. So definitely use this as kind of a basis for that. What's that?
Vanessa Joy says hey and she loves this.
Hey, Vanessa. So Vanessa Joy is watching. She is amazing. Photographer. Watch her on Adorama TV and other places. Yes. You look like you were going to say something. No, this guy back here. No, you weren't? Okay. I thought you looked like you were going to really, you were like, all right. Maybe you just always look that way. Who knows? All right, I'm going. Seth says hurry up. All right, so on to the next thing. Let me look at my pile of crap. Oh. So, I just did this yesterday, so it made me think of it. Okay, so nowadays, I can say that like I'm old, nowadays, everybody fires their lights with radios, right? Does anybody here plug their light in with a sync cord? Do we even know what a sync cord is? You know what it is at least, right? Okay. Okay, so that's great, right? You spend a bunch of money for a radio or not, and it can fire your lights. But the other thing that most of these radios can do that you may not be aware of is they can also fire your camera. This happens to be a Pocket Wizard Multimax because I am a snob. But you can get, actually I think this cord works for pretty much any, don't let Pocket Wizard hear me say that, any radio. Basically it's got the little end, this is a Canon one. That's called the 4-pin Canon special thingy. Nikon has 10 pins, I don't know why. But basically you get the one that's correct for your camera. If you've ever seen a cable release for your camera, right? I can take, instead of buying the $100 Canon cable release, this cable was like $15, I already have my radio, right? So I can plug it in. Turn my camera off for a second. When you plug electronic things in and out of your camera, you should usually turn the camera off. They told me in 1998. All right. The mono light I'm using is a Profoto B1X. There we go, that worked. All right, so here I can use this as a cable release, so if I want to be really steady, like if I was on a tripod or something, right? Let's see if I can, here, you can take a picture of yourself, like a selfie. Just press that button. Hold on, let me get lined up. All right, go for it. See that? Did you do it? I wasn't sure if I did it or not. Did you do it?
I don't know which one of us did it.
Okay, press this one. Here we go. Hold on, let me focus. Okay, go. What? Nothing's come up on the tether? Oh, man. You guys are missing the best shots. I am. I was. I had turned it off for a second. Boom, boom, boom. Checking the tether. Excuse me while we check the tether. There's a camera. Well, you're not going to see the picture. It's fine. It's not that important. What you can see, though, clearly is that, look, Emily fired the camera. Good. See that? Nice crowd picture. Let me try something. There's the camera. I think I had this problem before. There we go.
You're on.
Crowd? Yep, there you guys are. You weren't even smiling. All right, let's try that. Yes. You're waving. Oh, perfect. Oh, hey. Oh, hey. Oh, I see you back there, Steve. I was like blinded. Hold on. Yeah. All right, good. There we go. Selfie. Why? Don't take a better picture than me. Never let the models take their own picture. Damn it. Okay. So what's cool about this, though, is that if you have certain types of remotes like this one, for instance, I can do interval shooting. I can do all kinds of stuff. I can also put this up here, up in the sky, with a remote in my hand, right, and fire it because it's a receiver. So look into your radio system, see if it can do that. If it's got a 3 millimeter, 3.5 millimeter jack, this guy, then you probably can use one of these cables, right? I think a lot of people don't know these cables exist. It's really, really useful because, again, everybody has these radios, I feel like now, so why not? Okay, questions about that? No? Did everybody know that? Was that like totally something everybody already knew? You knew.
I was wondering if you did put the camera up
Yeah.
high, how would you see through the lens or
How would I see through the lens? Okay, that's a good question. So if you had your camera up high, how would you see through it? Normally in a situation like that, you probably wouldn't be looking through the camera, you'd preset it. You know, you'd put like for sports and stuff, you aim it at the basketball hoop, you know what I mean, that's exactly how they do it for that sort of stuff. And actually, with some systems, you can set it so that, in fact, this one would work too, you could put it on top of your camera hot shoe so that it fires the other cameras when you shoot your camera, if you want to do multiple cameras. So there's a lot of things you can do with it. Once you have that knowledge, you can fire cameras with your remote. Make sense? But there are apps and stuff for certain cameras that you could look through it if you really needed to, so you could also do that. All right, cool. Questions? No? All right. I feel like people know what this is, but I just want to kind of go over it because maybe not. Do everybody know what this is? No? Wow, okay, good. Who knows what it is? Well, you know what it is. Yeah, of course you know. This is a super clamp. Not only is it fun to say, because it's a super clamp,
people never think that.
it is probably the most useful clamp, besides an A clamp, that you could possibly have. They're not so expensive. They hold about 20 pounds, right? You've got a 2.5 inch mouth here. You can clamp onto things. And there is a world of things that go into the super clamp. Like there's a whole system that goes into it. But what I want to talk about today, because we were just talking about this the other day, is everybody who's ever got a super clamp before gets this thing here. Exactly. You can buy a bag of these because you lose them. There's a lot of people, probably many people here. I'm not gonna. Does anybody know what this does besides you, Steve? Seth knows what it does. You put this inside the super clamp to make it flat. Now it's flat. Clamp you onto flat things, nice and smooth. Tables.
They can't see that.
You can't. Well, I'm gonna erase it. Boom! Look at that. Hold on.
Wait,
Can I do it?
there you go.
I'm raising it.
Oh my God. So that's how a clamp goes, huh?
I know it's impressive. I know. I mean, I could hang my camera on that. Actually, don't hang the camera right on that. We'll talk about something else for that later. Okay, does that make sense? Super clamp. So if you don't have one of these, go buy one. Immediately lose that piece, and then buy more because there's bags of them. Yes, though people do lose them all the time.
They're asking if you're eating Ricolas.
Am I eating Ricolas?
Yeah.
No, but I think Emily is. You just gave her one.
Yeah.
No, I had one earlier though. It was delicious.
You should get sponsored.
I should get sponsored by them. Okay, here's another question I get all the time. I know, this one is a good one, I think. You're going to like this one. Daniel. They always start saying Daniel when they give me a question. I'm too lazy, they don't say it that way, to carry a light stand, but I have my tripod. Can I put my light on my tripod? And to that I say, yeah, of course. So I happen to have a tripod here. Surprise, surprise. This is by the way, this is an amazing tripod. It is not mine, but I envy it and want it. This is the Ghetto Traveler. This is the tripod you have, clearly. Where? Okay. Here it is. You guys know what tripods are. How am I going to put my light onto this? It's actually pretty simple. Using something we talked about before, right? the top of your tripod was 1/4 20. A lot of photo accessories have 1/4 20, including little studs like this. I can take my little stud. It's a little stud. I can screw it on here. Now, depending on the lights that you have, this is probably going to be fine, just that much. But you can often get them as sets. So you get this is the female stud, and this is the male stud, and you can screw them together if you need it to be taller. Go like that. I'm just leveling it, don't worry about it. It's not like people are watching. All right, and I can do this, and then I can throw my light right on top. Now, obviously, if you're gonna put a light on a tripod, there's gonna be some restrictions, right? It's not going to be as tall generally as a light stand, but in a pinch, right, I can pretty easily throw my light on here and make a portrait, right? Easy as that. That stud is like $5, maybe $6.95 for you. Or if you have Speedlights, right, small flash, you could add, actually you don't even need it. If you have Speedlights, you can just get this guy. See what that is? This is also threaded with 1/4 20. I know, it's amazing. What else could possibly have a 1/4 20 in? Yeah, almost everything. Except for the stuff that has 3/8. Yeah, and I'd love to have a Speedlight, please, yes. Thank you, Seth. All right, so this little guy. Also, most Speedlights come with a little foot that you can use. Actually, this thing has a little piece on there. We talked about this earlier. So this, I actually need to use the thing I used. Yeah, I got it. No, I'll just use this one. If you had the shoe that came with it, it should just go right on there. This one is going to require both pieces. Yeah, do you have the original shoe? Let me just do that. It's easier. Or if we can get this out of there.
Oh, I have one of these.
You got a male one?
I have a female.
Okay.
I can.
Daniel, you broke it. I know. There we go. All right, so now we've got this guy. We go like this. This is probably more common, right? You already have a Speedlight in your bag. You probably, I mean, if you're carrying a pro photo head and you're not going to carry a stand, I'm just not sure what's going on there. But if you know, most people have Speedlights with them. This is a Flashpoint little Speedlight. It's not $79, even though I said repeatedly that it was $79 the other day. Raise it up, tilt it, you know, and you're good to go. I'll make a portrait of you right there. See that? Make sense? Simple, right? You already have a Ghetto Traveler, don't you? Right? You just need this little piece here, and you're basically golden. You can use it, right? You can also, if you're using Speedlights, you can put them on clamps. You can put it on super clamp. You can put it on. Aha, okay. You guys have seen these before, right? There's still a price tag on it, obviously it's not mine. So, this is wonderful, but how am I going to get this onto there, right? How am I going to do it? Ah. The reveal. You see that? There's a hole. And look, 1/4 20. Right? Now, I mean, in theory, you could, if you don't want to go through this extra step, you could screw the little shoe right onto this, but there's going to be a gap and it's going to wobble. Oops. I have to show it if I'm going to do that then. You might be wondering, because I'm sure people always wonder when I do things. They're like, I wonder why Daniel does that. I could just screw this to this, right? In theory, that works. The problem is there's going to be, right, if I screw this down, if I screw it up too far, it's going to start going through the top and hit my speed light. And then if I leave it here, you know, nobody wants that, right? So you got two options there. If you happen to be somewhere where you don't have the option, let's say you're using the one that came with your speed light and you don't have any grip with you at all, like literally going full on hardware store, what you can do is get a nut and roll the nut down so it stays, right? Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. You can do a couple of washers, yeah.
A lot of washers.
Yeah. What are you in the washer business over here? You need like 5 washers for that. You use a washer. You should use a washer and a nut. What's that? He's a washer salesman. All right, so we can just screw this guy on there. These little brass studs are really good to have. Plus, it's fun to say stud. Let me get a stud, Emily. All right, so I screw that on. I go like this. Boom. Now I got my speed light. It is warm in here, no? All right. And now, I mean, obviously I don't have a full articulation, but I can definitely clamp it somewhere, right? It's giving me something. I can spin it in different directions. I can get a little bit of, a little bit of, well, I'm gonna clamp it onto something. I'm gonna clamp it onto this. Yeah. Okay, boom. No, nothing? That's it, that's what we got, okay. Emily's impressed. This is why I'm here. Just for the abuse that I get from you guys. I appreciate it. Okay, questions so far? Have you knew all of these things? How many of you people have done any of this? Some of it? You've known all of it, right there? You're smiling like you've done it all. You're like, I haven't seen anything new here, buddy. All right. You knew this? Come on. All right, good. Did you know they make them smaller? Yeah, give that to him. Okay. There's a washer. So, what we can do too here is we've got different sizes, right? So I can actually take these and connect them together, right, to create other types of clamps. You know, just simply like this. Emily's just hanging out here. She doesn't. Oh, I caught the microphone again. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm not.
I think it's just the speaker.
Okay. I'm just going to use this because I have it. Obviously, a nut and a washer would be better. Now I've got this. Screw this together, right? So now I have double clamp. So if I wanted to clamp something else to this, you know, like this over here, I don't know why I would clamp this, but I'm going to. You know, I can now clamp, like, make my table bigger, you know, by clamping another piece or something like that, right? I can double it up. Make sense? Okay. Simple as that. You can add them together, make different types of clamps. You can come at different angles with them. So you just have to think about like a couple of, oh, by the way, I forgot I bought this. This is big. Get ready for it. You may have already noticed, so if it's not a big reveal, I mean, are you right? You got it? I know. It's black on one side. It's white on the other. Right? Perfect. So we can actually do this, right? By the way, that's another trick right there that I just taught you. If you just put stuff close enough to the model, they'll hold on to it. I was going to, but she grabbed it.
Okay.
It's like babies. If you put stuff near babies, they grab it. Same thing with models.
Yeah, you're not going to feel flat.
Here we go. Good. Okay, black frame. For some unknown reason.
Did you lose the sync? I might have changed your channel.
Oh, no, I think this is broken.
No, I think I changed your channel by accident.
They gave me a broken remote.
No, your sync is off. Try now. There you go.
There we go. It is still broken, but it works.
Sorry.
You're good. Right. Now we got a little black card in there for some shape, right? Mix it up a little bit. There was actually no reason to take that picture except for you have to take a picture every once in a while by a union contract. Okay. Question so far. Does that all make sense so far? We're gonna make a cookie now? A cookie puss? I need a knife. I don't carry knives ever since that thing. Ever since that incident.
Do you want a box cutter or do you want a scalpel?
Scalpel. All right, so I have a cookie obsession. So here's the thing, right? When you're doing photography and you're learning and you're going forward, you know, this is what you do, right? You got a softbox, costs you a whole bunch of money. You use it every time. It always creates kind of a nice shot. But sometimes it's fun to play with different types of light, different textures, different shapes of light. And one of the best ways to do that is just to put something between your light source and your subject, to shape it and to mold it and to make it kind of different. One way to do that is using what's called a cookie, which is basically just something that has a shape cut in it.
Do you want to draw it first?
I could draw it first. What should we do, a smiley face? I'm gonna do a star, if I can remember how to do it. Are you good at drawing stars? No? Nobody's got star skill? All right. I got it.
That's how you do it. Oh. Oh, it's like SpongeBob.
Yeah.
And
It's like a SpongeBob star. It's probably too big. That's
way
all right.
too big.
It's big. I'll do a smaller one. Okay.
There you go. Attaboy.
All right. All right, so I've drawn my star. Now I'm going to use my box cutter. No, my scalpel. What is that sound?
I do it for you like Tom.
Yep.
Thank you.
I was waiting for him to ask to do it because that's not my thing. I guess you've not noticed. I'm not I'm a little clumsy. We'll just say that. All right. So, but there's other things you can do too besides this. We could also use, and I think a lot of people, this might be one of the first things they do in lighting to kind of mix it up, is we can also use things like gels, right? A gel is going to change the color of our light source. Oop. Or we can use them in front of the lens, which is one way that I think people aren't using them as much as they should. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? No. I'm looking for the gels. All right, we'll do something else while that's happening because that's going to have to help me with that. Okay, perfect. Here we go. All right, we've got our star.
Sort of.
All right. There's a lot of things we can do with this. I can put it here and then take a picture through it, right? No, actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to have you hold it. So I'm going to have Emily hold this, like arm's length out. I'm reflecting behind her. Okay. So, yeah. Cool. Right? Obviously, we're hitting it with a little bit of light, but we can play around with this and create different shapes. A lot of different things to shoot through it. Put stuff in front of your lens can be really interesting. But what we're really going to use it for is to...
Why don't you put it in front of the light?
In front? What?
So you don't get any light on the front of it, so it just goes.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. I'm going to get the light on the other side of it, yeah. Wow. Come a little forward. Yeah. Because we want to get this right here, I think. Can you reach it there? There we go. All right, so I'm looking at her. I was actually watching a lot of horror movies because it's been Halloween. This is my horror movie creeping through the... No? Just says no. I take it back. It wasn't a horror movie. Right, now we're getting there, right? Well, that's kind of interesting. Hold on. Look at me. I'm totally off course here, but I like it. All right. But anyways, what we're going to do with this is we're actually going to throw light through the thing. So that's interesting, right? And you can do any number of patterns like that. You could do slices. You could do whatever to create shape, to hide things. But what I actually want to do is shoot light through the cookie onto her. And for that, you're going to want to usually use kind of a smaller, more directional light source. That's going to give us a lot more control. So I'm going to actually use the light by itself with nothing on it. Let me pull that back. You're good. Okay, I'm going to drop this guy down. Like that. And I'm going to pull this off. We've got a softbox over here. It's soft, it won't hurt anything. That's why it's called a softbox. Everybody thinks it's called a softbox because it makes soft light, but it's actually because it's physically soft. That's the truth, I swear. I read it on Wikipedia. All right. All right, so we're going to take this. Yeah. I'm going to point it in the general direction of Emily. I'm going to grab my stand. I have a lot of stuff going on over here. How did I get so much stuff out? I keep forgetting to put it back. Okay. What do you think? So far? Doing all right? No? All right, good. All right, so what we're going to do here, by the way, another CStand thing. What's great about CStand is you can nest them close together. That's another reason why we like to use them. And you can also just hold the card. Just pinch it in there. Here we go. So if we need to get the, I'll probably end up moving this back. We need to. Actually, I'm going to move this over here. Okay. I'm going to need to nest it now. Is that on you? Can you kill the light, Seth? Can you kill the lights for a second? All right, just so people can see it. So you can see it's on her neck right now. Now it's on her face, on her grill. Right there. She's a star. Okay, so we're gonna have to meter it again. Typically what I would do is not meter it and then you get a bad exposure, but I figure, you know, for you guys, you deserve a good exposure. Cookies are delicious. Gobo is not so much. So the difference between a cookie and a gobo, they're usually used interchangeably. I mean, a gobo just means go between, basically. It could be anything. But typically, I think of a gobo more like on the light source itself, like on a like on a focusing head, like a data light or something. This one's hard to read, so I'm gonna have to do a test shot. Probably gonna be a little bit hot, but we'll find out. Oh no, it's actually a little bit cold. Surprisingly. There we go. There we go. All right, so we got it on her there. Some of the light's creeping. Past. So move the gobo closer to her. What? Yeah, we could put the Magnum on there if you want. I can also just do that. Go like this. There we go. We're getting a little creep. So you need to be over there. Yeah, can you? Yeah, you can just actually move your whole chair. I'm just gonna move her. It's easier than because we're fighting the background here a little bit. There she is. It's amazing when you ask models to move and stuff, they do it. It's weird. I think some people like freak out, like, but you know, hey, We're working together here. It's like a team. I'm getting a little bit of light in the background, but I think it'll be okay. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to see an actual star because we don't have like a focused head here. But what we're just trying to do is create something that's really interesting. Oh. Right? It's just creating this like uneven kind of interesting light on her. It's still very hard, right? But it's not so like perfect. It's kind of an imperfect light, which is kind of interesting. And you know, you could get, like if you look at the background, can you move for a second so you can see the background? On the background, we kind of get a star back there, but it really has to do with like distance to.
You could actually let the background with that and light this up.
I could. So many options. I'm kind of liking the kind of imperfectness of the light.
Nice.
And then what we'll do is we're going to kick in a little bit of, yeah, I like this. I'm going to use this as my key, right? We're going a little off, right? We're going to, instead of using like a big soft light as our key like we normally would, I'm going to use this as my key light to create that drama. And then I'm just going to bring the softbox in just to kind of fill in the shadows a little bit. Because we don't like it to be too shadowy. I had a softbox, but I don't know how to do it. All right, so I'm going to grab my Profoto D2 over here. Okay, cool. So now we're basically, you know, doing things a little bit different by using our kind of self-created light as our key or our main light on our subject. And then I'm just going to come in and fill in a little bit so our shadows aren't quite so black with the softbox. So this is in 3C. I'm just going to start with it all the way down. This is the Profoto D2. Nice. I see you in there. All right, here we go. Oh, yeah, meter. So I'm shooting at f8, as always. I want to meter this guy a little bit less than that. Okay. So I'm about 2.5 stops under. So we'll see what that looks like. I'm creeping. Bring your head up a little bit, chin up a little bit. More right there. So I basically just had the light on her eyes. Oh, interesting. Okay. That's cool. Oh, because I got to come from this direction to not have the background. Cool, cool, cool. Eyes to me. Right, good. There we go. So now we're creating this kind of, you can see now my shadows are starting to fill in, right? But I've got this hot light on her. And then it's just a matter of balance, right? I think this light here, which is my A group, I'm going to, let's see, it's at 9 now. I'm gonna bring it down 2 stops. Because I feel like that's too hot. We'll take a shot. There we go. Yeah, that's good. That is kind of interesting. Now I want to add a little color. Now we're going to add gels.
You need gels?
Yeah, please.
What do you want?
Something red.
Something punchy?
Yeah. So I'm not going to add the gel to the light, right? Because we're doing some unconventional stuff. We're trying to mix it up a little bit, just something a little bit weird. I'm going to instead put the gel in front of my lens. Something with some good.
You got blue,
I'll take blue.
You want me blue?
Yeah, I'll take blue to start. I'm gonna do like a half and half. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm blocking part of my lens with the gel. Remember that the gel is gonna be. It's gonna make it darker, right? Okay. So I'm gonna do the other side where the light is. Makes more sense.
I got purple,
Ooh, I like purple.
orange. You got red, you want red?
I think I'm good. Oh, there we go. That's looking good. Okay. Now we got that. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here. We're mixing the gels together.
Can you just show a camera or something really quick? What you're doing?
Okay, so I'm gonna take the 2 gels and I'm gonna stick them in front of my lens like this to create, actually, do you have tape?
You want to gap it?
Yeah, tape's better. Perfecto. I think that's probably fine. Let me put it on first. Yeah, I'll get the bottom. Yeah. Cute. Like that. So I'm basically covering my lens with 2 different color gels. This is going to look completely weird and funky. And I'm leaving a little bit of a gap in the center. Maybe some white light will go through. We're not really sure. I'm also going a little bit wider because, yeah, that's kind of cool. All right, let me go tighter with the thing. There we go. Oh, you're scary. Is this going to affect the clarity of the lens? Absolutely. I'm putting a 10-cent gel in front of a $2,000 lens. However, you know, it's going to have a little bit of softness to it, but it still has like an interesting feel. You know? Like, it's not completely junk. And what's cool about this too, by using the 2 colors, is we're going to move them around to create different shapes and pattern. I'm just going to shoot a few here. Bring your chin up again like that. That was nice. Up, 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 right there. Hold. Stay there for a second. Good. I'm trying to get some blue. Open up. Too dark.
Yeah, she's just gone.
Oop. Oh, yeah, she is. Oh, the blue is very dense. Okay. Okay, hold. Good. Hold. All right, so obviously it's not having an easy time focusing through this. Oh yeah, this is really dense. That blue is really dense. Can we get a lighter blue, maybe? Well, I'll just mostly focus on the red. There we go. I got it. There we go. It's better. All right, let me zoom in. Yeah, I think the mixing the 2 together is not, the blue is too dense for the red. So I think what we're going to do,
You want to do like a purple maybe?
yeah, let's go something that's closer to the red. Okay, guys, sorry. Ah. Sorry.
Do I have this blue?
Thank you. All right, so I'm getting them closer in density. I'm sorry, the radio's on the ground. All right. So you see what's happening there, right? The one blue is way too dark, so I wasn't getting a good balance, right? So what I really want to do here is get it so that they're closer together. We'll see what we get now. There we go. Now I just got to get a better background. All right, that's good. We got. Cool. Awesome. All right. Okay, cool. So, you can see though, just experimenting with the different colors. I mean, this could, yes. Well, if you gel the lights, you'll get a completely different effect. Yeah, this is going to be kind of a little bit weird and interesting, whereas gelling the light would just be more conventional. We'll actually do both. Right, here we can do stuff like that. If I just gel the light, the whole light's just going to be red. Right, does that make sense? You may like, you know, just gelling the light. That also works. Thank you. You know, the point of this is kind of to get you to see that using the stuff in a regular conventional way, that's what we do every week, right? What I want to do with this is really kind of get out of the box and mess around and kind of show that like you can do other things with the equipment. And really, if you're going to do this, if this is your plan to do this, you should get on a tripod. You should probably get a stand and hang the gels in front properly. I'm just kind of quickly showing you guys what can be done on the fly. You can see all this weird flariness that's happening there. You're not going to get that if the gel is on the light, right? You see what the difference would be? That's really the main reason for that. You can also put filters on the lens. You know, you could put a clear filter on your lens and take a Sharpie and draw on it. There's lots of different things you could do to create this kind of feeling. And that's kind of what we're trying to do here. Get out of the box a little bit. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, cool. All right, so let me look at my little pile here. See if there's anything else we haven't gone over. Are there any questions about the weirdness that is happening currently? let me just, for the heck of it, show you what it'll look like if we just gel the lights, right? Let's go a little bit more conventional, but we'll still do a cross-colored thing. What we'll do is we'll take the, I'm gonna get rid of this. Lose this for a second.
Same gels?
Yeah, let's go same gels. I'm gonna do yeah, perfect. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do more of a conventional clamshell type configuration. So basically we're gonna put a key light or a main light right above our model in the center, and then we're gonna put our fill light coming from the bottom. And what we're gonna do to make it a little different is we're gonna gel it. And I'll try not to pull all the cords off myself as I do it. All right, here we go. So again, we're coming in now. We've got the, I'm gonna do the underneath light first, which is basically my fill light. Okay. Watch yourself. Might poke you a little bit. So again, this is gonna be, let's do blue on this one. Right, so I'm gonna throw a blue gel on this light. Point it up at her. I might need you to stand for this because I don't think I have a low enough stand. I'm gonna need you to stand, yeah. I know, you've been sitting all day. Okay. Okay, that's good. That's gonna be my fill. This is gonna be my key. By the way, this is for all the people that ask the question, if you don't have an arm, can you still get the light in the center? We're gonna do that now too. This is not gonna cover the whole magnum, but I think it'll be fine. Okay, so now, we've got two lights going on here. Red gel up top, right? Now I'm going to take the dome away because I only want to read the one light. So I'm going to point it at the light. Okay, that's too bright.
Red 2.
Okay. Okay. Mix. Okay, so I'm just going to raise the power of the bottom one. The bottom one's going up, right?
1.8, 2, 2.5,
Okay, that should do me.
2.8.
Okay, 2.8, good.
3.8, 4.8.
Okay. Bottom light's on roughly 5.6. The top light is on roughly f8. I'm going to shoot at f8. Remember, the color is going to make a big difference here, so we're going to have to tweak once we get it. Actually, that only fired the bottom one. That's when you fire only the one light. I guess since I'm here, I'll just fire this should just be the top light. Nope, that's both, okay.
No, they're both on.
Yeah. Here we go. So I think I'm a little hot. Okay, master, I'm going to bring everything down one stop. Oh, but the top one was down all the way, right? That was the problem. I'm going to go to F9. So normally I would say never change your camera, but the light's turned down all the way and I want it to be darker. There we go. And now I'm really going to bring this bottom light down because it's way too hot.
Only a 2 at the top.
Yeah. Okay, good. Now, so that's red gel, right, with blue fill. So if I overexpose my red, especially because I have some of this clean light coming around it, it starts to clear up a little bit. So I think what I'll do is I'll go, I'm going to go back to F8 and see what that looks like. Okay. All right, so we're seeing now the difference. So basically, here's the thing. I mean, both options are certainly there, and both might be great, and both might suck, really. It really depends on what you're doing, right? You've got this kind of like messed up, weird, partially blue, partially white, partially, messed up flare going on, or you have clean light, right? So that's the difference between putting the gel on the light versus putting it in front of the lens. That's kind of the thing, I mean, maybe neither one works for what you're doing, right? It really comes down to what you're going for, yes?
What about the quality of the light? Let's say gel on specific light versus, let's say, gel on a full mount or something like that. Gel on a soft box like that.
Yeah, if you gel the light, it's just going to change the color of the light. The quality of the light doesn't change, basically. When you're putting it in front of the lens, you're messing with your lens, right? So you're lowering the quality, you're making it different, you're changing it. That's really the difference there, right? Does that make sense? I mean, you could put anything in front of the lens. You could put just a piece of plastic in front of the lens to make it weird. You could put your hand in front of the lens, to create shape, right? I'm crushing your head there. I can also open up a little bit. You can do stuff like that, right? And that creates now shape too. Lots of different things. That's just me putting my hand on the lens, right? Whatever you're going to do is going to affect the shot, and that's kind of, this is, the concept here is just opening yourself up to that, doing these different things. Questions? Any of that make sense? Off the wall, yes.
You just mentioned as an aside that you prefer to change the setting of the lights and leave the camera.
Yeah.
Is that just...
Okay, so yeah, right. So again, in a way, this is what this, although this became a little bit of like a sidetrack into a weird area, the whole concept here of this whole day was exactly that. I said something offhand that to me is just whatever, and you're just hearing me saying it for the first time. You said you don't change the camera, right? Well, yeah, the reason why, and we'll talk about that because that's actually interesting. So questions like that is what I want to answer in things like this, like kind of all these oddball questions. What's the difference between, so, right, if you're using multiple studio lights, and I set my camera, let's say at f8 at 250, right? And I make the shot and the first light looks perfect, and I put the second light in, and I make a shot and that light is too bright, and I change the camera, what's gonna happen? The other light is gonna, right, because the light doesn't change with it. So that's the reason why you almost never change the camera. In this case, I did it because there was nowhere else to go, and also it was one light against the other one as a fill light, so it didn't really matter. But almost always, you don't want to change the camera. The other thing is, remember that I need to have an exposure that gets all the ambient light gone. So I don't want to mess with the camera and then I start picking up ambient light, right? I don't want to pick up the light in the space. So that's the reason why I don't change the camera once I have it set. Yeah. That make sense? Sorry, I'm losing my voice here. Thank you. Questions? I know there's a lot of random stuff, which is kind of was the point, but was anything particularly so random that didn't make any sense you want me to go over again? No? What do you think, Emily? Questions online? Are they just like, what did you do today? Like, yeah. Okay, so, cool. Thanks for coming for this one. It was kind of weird and different, I know. On the 15th, I'm going back to more conventional stuff, so if you guys like just the straight photo tutorials, we're doing hard light versus soft light. That should be really cool. On the 15th, 5 o'clock, we'll stream as well if you guys don't come, but otherwise, make sure you follow me on YouTube, Daniel Norton Photographer. I do a lot of tutorials there. 1,200 sessions, I do stuff with Seth. Also, every Monday on Adorama's Instagram, Seth goes live, so you should check that out. That's going to be really good.
Shooting live in the space, Speedlights on Monday.
And he's shooting on Monday, Speedlights in the space, so sign up for that one, guys. But thanks.